Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the Township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Today we have an attendance Frank Hollingsworth, Bruce Hess, Diane Tyson, and our member Chris Cretin is not here today. And then from the township staff, we have Karen Hitchens, and Lisa Cleveland and Charlie Thomas, Director of Public Works. And I said, Chris Cretin is not here. So I'd like to call Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Okay. Has everyone read the minutes of the meeting of July 24th?
Yes.
We have a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? And we have no one tuned in.
We have no one online. That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. So no public concerns or comments, reports, recreation. Chris is not here. I don't know if Charlie, do you know of anything?
All practices started on, season started, but I do see the kids out there practicing.
Okay.
Other than that, haven't heard anything else from softball.
Okay.
They contacted me two months ago and anything since I returned their email.
Okay. Grounds, buildings and trails.
The guys ended up paving the lower walking trail at Community Park. Also topsoil and seeded, because that bottom of the trail, every time it flooded, that would just lay full water and mud for days. So that's taken care of. We are waiting on a permit to install a new breaker box, timers on the outlets in the pavilions at Community. If you recall, we did that with Clark Pavilion. People bringing all their telephones and everything and plugging everything and charging during the day. We had to see somebody charging some of their RV batteries. So we put timers on those, all the outlets at Community Park, because the person who's doing it at Clark Pavilion moved down the pavilions at Community Park. So we're putting kibosh to that. So the new freight box, as soon as we receive the permit, open sometime this week, and it says install. That's
Good.
what I had for now.
Yeah, I saw that they, it's funny, they put a sign up that said not to try and keep pets and dogs off, pets and kids off the seated area of the, yeah. And the worst thing was the first day, before you put up the sign, the first day, it looked like somebody who put kid on the whole way through.
It's still.
Yeah. Gee. What do you do? Can't win. Okay. All right, nothing else?
Not this time.
And the East Lampeter Township Recreation Program. It's your turn, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay.
As you mentioned, we do have a registration site up and running. We've got a couple programs listed under there now. So we wanted to propose a fee structure for residents versus non-residents. And looking at the other recreation programs in the area, consistency. So what I wanted to propose is a 30% more fee if the price of the program is under $50 and 20% more if it's over $50, so that you can pay them a ton more if it ends up being something that's $100. And then we round up to the next one. So that would be something that we could just go.
I was curious to ask you too, with our park pavilion registrations, we have an open period for township residents before we open it up to non-township residents, like it's a 2-week window in the beginning of January. Are you looking at considering doing, like, giving township residents first dibs, and then if the program's not open, then we open it up to non-township, or is that too much?
Right now, I don't think we need to do that. We just want to get as many people in as possible. If we maximum numbers, like for example, like the goat yoga, we could have taken up to 28 people, I believe it was, and we got 18. So, if we can fill the program.
Yeah, I mean, I had mixed feelings about it too, because you want to make other people jealous. And so if they have an opportunity to participate,
To that.
then it would be actually return residents for something. Because that's kind of how we got to with the park, with the pavilions was, people were lined up first January 2nd. And, residents, so we give them a little bit more an edge. So I think just kind of keep that, if there's a way to keep track of it.
Well, and if we start hitting that maximum, then absolutely. But at this point, I don't want to deter anybody from signing up and then we don't get full.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then as far as upcoming programs, we have another Yoga in the Park series that starts September the 10th. And it goes for 6 weeks. I'm looking for a backup visual in case of the inclement weather and we get super cold for some reason in October or whatever. We should be fine, but just in case. So hopefully we'll have something secure and that way before September the 10th gets on its way. And that that was $30 for residents and $39 for residents for that.
It's using the 30% increase for non-residents. Are you okay with that figure for anything under $50, a 30% higher rate for non-residents?
I think that makes sense.
It doesn't mean a motion, but you're.
I was gonna say, do we need, now, I was anticipating that. Do we need a motion? And I guess the supervisors will have to approve that.
So if it's a event that we're charging for, it's not something that we can put on our fee resolution.
Okay.
Because those events change all the time, whereas the fee resolution is for us to do something that we do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's great.
just sort of clarify, it'd be a 30% increase upcharge for non-residents.
Under $50, and then over 50 is 20%.
20%. Yeah. You make a motion. Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, that was easy enough.
That one. And also on September 10th, Diane, I'm happy about this. Our walking group will start. So we have a walking group. I've talked to some community members that were interested in this as well. And we have 2 locations on Tuesday, Lancaster Heritage Pathway Trailhead, and on Thursdays at Community Park, meeting up at Lights Pavilion and then going out from there. There's no fee for it, but we're still going to have people register on the site so we can have them sign the waiver and keep track of who's going and that sort of thing. So that's also going to start September 10th. Don't really have an anticipated end date on that, as long as the weather stays nice. We'll see how this works, and if we wanted to change it, move it to another location or alter it, we'll see how
I
we
think it's a great idea.
go from that point.
Okay, yeah.
So,
An anticipation of how many people you'll have, or
not at this point. Yeah, I've talked to 4 people that I know are interested. One of the women, Kathy Hakey, she, said she had a few friends that she knows were interested as well.
Yeah, there are people, but go up, they use the facilities for sure, so that's great.
I don't know if I mentioned, so that was at 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then, we also have Fall Festival coming up too that we're gonna do. This is gonna be, mostly geared for children, 2 to 12 years, and, different activity stations. Some things like, pumpkin painting, some leaf rubbing or some other things with revolving around leaves, some fall type activities. I have spoken with Dina Henry over at CB, and we had talked about having some of the sports teams be the groups that would man those stations as well, and some of the CB high school students involved in doing that. So we're still in the planning stages of that one, but we also are going to have for the adults a plant cookie dama workshop at one of the pavilions while that's going on, and that will be a charge for that. So, I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's where you take a plant and around, the roots, you put moss, and then they wrap twine around it. It's more of like a decorative thing that you put in either like a macrame or a plate or something. But anyway, so that, has the roots with it as well. And so in Conestoga Valley did sign the memo of understanding, which will give us a ability to use their indoor space for programs for this winter. So we're working on, seeing how that's going to fit into their schedule and plan for that.
Of course, CV will have first dibs at all of their spaces, right? But
yeah,
we're willing to allow us free use.
Yes.
Would be class activities like history of something, whatever.
The topics are kind of open-ended right now, so I mean, if you have something that you wanted to propose,
I was just adult, continuing adult education type
Right.
classes. Maybe we could tie it in with Norris when I say continuing education for adults, the active. We would tie it in, but
Right.
just do our own thing. I just want to see if that would be in part of your plan for the future, to have adult education.
Yep. Well, that encompasses a lot of things too. You can do continuing education, anything from cooking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mini golf inside.
I'm going to come to that.
We're gonna do a Halloween movie night, and with Hocus Pocus, back on Glory again. Hopefully it'll be warm enough, or just bundle up, bring it back, whatever. So we're gonna do that on October the 18th. So that's gonna come out shortly.
This movie turnout was a lot better than the first one, right?
Yeah, I think, it's gaining momentum. So the last one, when it got kind of dark, and I couldn't really count anymore. It was probably somewhere in the 40s. So with people, coming in, it was a few more than that. We did get a popcorn maker, so we gave out popcorn at that one too. And yeah, so it went well. And then we've are looking into the possibility of doing a community garden at Community Park on the lot that is between like the parking lot and the road property. And I've spoken with Penn State Extension Master Gardeners. They actually have a committee that does community gardens. And so there's some things that, they particularly, are looking for, and this location is kind of ideal for that. Water, there's parking, there's enough light. It's close to places that you can rest and seek shade if you want to. So,
Are you all familiar, I'm sorry, are you familiar with that area that is slated for an emergency access on Hobson Road between Chris's house and the entrance to the park?
That's going to be to the west side. This is house.
Right.
You,
West side of Chris's
On the
house.
west side.
Right.
it's not straight across from Elmwood. It's between Elmwood and Chris's house. There's a big open field.
Yeah.
Township owns it.
On it.
Well, yeah, possibly put an emergency access in there if need be, if it's something to happen at the entrance, but this is a great idea, for community park.
You know, it's funny, I often saw that area. And people, I see people walking up through there to get into the park. Some of the people that live on Elmwood, I know them, I see them going up to there, and I thought, I often wondered, who owns that? Well, now I know. Okay. All right.
so we're looking at steps to do that. We need to do like a soil testing to see what particular to gardens, to vegetable gardens, to see what the soil might need, that sort of thing. But I went and visited townships, get some feedback from them. Mr. Governor said, they feel it's like a great spot to do this. And
You got community, right,
Yeah.
kind
Uh,
of.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, and especially a lot of people live in the apartment, you know, and there's in that area. It's really something.
And, what they had mentioned, and I think is a good idea as well, is that, when you grow something like that, a lot of times you have surplus. They also, at some of the other community gardens, they collect that and take it to where the local food bank is for people that need it. So, we can set that up as well. And then the things that we've completed recently, we had a hero hangout with some of the, one of the police officers from the township who came and met with the kids in Glory Park on August the 7th. There were about 7 kids that were there for that. And then goat yoga, that was August 7th as well. We had 18 participants that paid for that. So that, went well as well. And as far as the yoga in the park, by the end of the last session, we had 15 people who were registered to do it. The most that showed up in one night was 10, but we're still like gaining that momentum, getting that going. And then Bruce, you mentioned that it was August the 16th, and all too, so.
Could you share that? Because you were.
Still working on this one. We've got a couple details we need to work out. It's not official, but there's a festival, a walking club.
Get the notices on Facebook.
We've already.
See some of them.
I don't,
Yeah, because I don't know.
I'm usually gone. That's good. All right. See if people want to do a job or something too. So.
So is this graphic design
Yeah.
your baby, or is that somebody else?
and Lillian kind of proofs them and then Tara proofs them, so
It's pretty good.
it's a group effort.
People are getting into a, regular routine, we'll get through. And plus, have you talked to Adele about try some of this through the school?
Yeah, so Katie, I don't remember.
You like visual waves. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
That's good. Yeah. Speaker support. Okay. Well, great. Nothing for recreation. Okay. Anything for old business? Okay.
Okay, so 2 years ago, we had a problem with people taking the mini disc. At the beginning of the year, we got 10. And at the end of the year, I counted them today, and we have 11. So the net increase of one wasn't even outrageous, it's a regular. And somebody actually gave us $2 donation for the one they took. So we have $2 here, so I don't know who to give it to, but basic thing is we had a problem with it, and it seemed that putting those signs up ended the problem, at least part of it. But once Charlie Town.
There's not connections, what else?
11 out of 10, we did good. Sorry, I just want to say that.
That's a big difference. How about? Excellent, okay. Any other old business?
Yes,
Oh,
we did have our budget workshop with the Board of Supervisors.
okay,
One of the biggest things is they want to phase out Gibbons Park. They thought it was a little expensive to do everything. Somewhere up around six.
600, yeah, I looked at that before we came here, yes.
So they looked at everything and they said, we're probably going to end up phasing that out. So we're going to look at the numbers for possibly next year. If it's approved, the parking lot, the boat ramp, part of the trail.
So what we applied for to the Fish and Boat Commission last year, that was around $200,000.
That's what I think it was.
They also asked us to look at other funding options, so other funding grants or other funding streams to make that happen.
They also didn't have any hard for the pavilion at Lafayette with the description that we have right now. I don't have the final number of the structure itself, but to do the land developments of the grading, getting the utilities up on Crystal Drive, pouring the concrete pad, we're looking at about $107,000. The building itself, I'm still waiting for the engineer to get back to me because there's going to be some block work, some plumbing for the restrooms, the hookup of the electrical stuff. So I'm waiting on that number, but really didn't seem to have any bad feedback. So we're still moving forward with all the budget and getting numbers together and trying to narrow something down so we can nail a number to it. Hopefully be approved this lane. The design is from that 80% done. Showing where the utilities are coming up and showing the position of the pavilion. I could probably have an answer next meeting. Just want to make sure everything's pretty close to where we think it should be. Then I'll give the board
I assume that anybody to get a construction cost, you're gonna need to have designs pretty much finalized.
this year for design or construction. Yeah, because it's not to do everything in 1 year. And it's a long process. Management stuff, you have to look at if we have to go through zoning hearing for it. Sure, we've got everything completed in 2024. Come winter or before spring of 2025. Hopefully have it if it's approved. And then we'll look at construction in the spring or something.
And was the board interested in, as far as phases, were they interested in a 3-year phases or a 5-year phase?
They mentioned it. They just said, let's show something happening down there, definitely.
That's been my concern all along. I wanted to see, I felt really bad that it's taken as long as we had, but of course we had a pandemic in the middle of that too, but I'd just like to see something happening.
Yeah, I think phasing that out is fine. I think if we get a chunk of it done and then, do 2 more years after that to get.
I think the bridge alone was around 200,000.
Right. That was the big one.
And who knows, there may be grants that come out there and we may apply for something. They may see the production going on down there and say, here you go.
Especially since that park is mostly for passive recreation, so it's not like we're shortchanging anybody anything if we do it in phases.
And yeah, and the only thing I'm thinking about, and this is, on the one hand, I think, I want to say, gee, would like to see some progress, like to see, have people be able to see something visible. On the other hand, we don't necessarily want to attract people to it when if it's not completely buttoned up and, you know what I mean? It's like, so, and you don't want to have people come to stuff when you're trying to do some construction at like phase two, so we have to kind of think about that a little bit, but I still like to see it happen.
So the reconstruction of the stream and the riparian buffer through the Lancaster County Conservation District. And then the board asked us to install the temporary parking area so that, Fisher persons could get in there and have a safe place to park rather than parking along the roadway.
Yeah.
So there is already a parking area. And there already has been stream modifications that have actually increased the fish population,
Oh.
which is fantastic.
Does the pavilion at Lafayette do anything for your programming at all, or is that totally separate animal?
Yeah, I think that we can program there just like we have been at Flory in that pavilion
Okay.
and community park. Yeah.
And that's where she had to go yoga too. Oh, yeah.
On movies, you need a big wall somewhere, or do you have some temporary thing, blow up deal?
Once it gets built and we have a summer recreation program, there's a lot of people that can walk,
That's true.
very close by
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
pavilion.
Having a place to store the things for what you're working with would be nice.
We have a shed for it.
A shed full of goats or.
Eat into the truck. They can mow the grass.
There you go.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Anything else? That was all business. Any new business?
Just a few updates if the board members don't have any new business. So all three of the projects for the Lancaster Heritage Pathway are now moving forward. You may recall we had some hiccups with the PennDOT ECMS system and moving forward with the two that are on the western edge of the project. That's now resolved and we can finally move forward. It took about 2 years, quite honestly. So that's exciting news. The other item I wanted to let you all know about was that the Board of Supervisors entered into an agreement with the city of Lancaster to expand the Bike It system. So the Bike It system is you purchase a rental bike and you can ride it around and you put it back in one of the stations that you got it from. So East Lampeter Township is looking to install one station with 5 bikes near the Lancaster Heritage Pathway in 2024 or early 2025. So the board did agree to that expansion and we look forward to working with the city and the Bike It system.
Well, so we could say you could go to the Heritage Pathway and rent a bike and ride up and down.
And you could go into the city and back on the bike or even
With your
further.
life in your hand.
It depends where you go, Jim, and how well you do it.
Ride the bike in and drop it off at a station there,
You absolutely could.
or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
See bike players everywhere.
That we were missing an opportunity there, but there were so, like, if you think about going over the creek at, there on King Street or whatever you want to call it, King Street, or, it's frightening, but I often thought about, when I was working in town, I often thought about commuting in town on bike. So, will be people that want to do that, so, cool. Yep, all right. Thank you for that update.
Absolutely.
That'll be fun. All right, any other new business? And no other public comment? There's still nobody tuned in?
Sir.
Okay. All right,
Make a motion.
okay.
Yes, I'm. Good second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned.